So you are an inborn explorer, naturally born,
yes.
And you have lived to be 80. Maybe we're not exploratory enough. I'll take a break and I'll return to talk a little bit more about how his family managed to cope with a man like this for over 60 years, you know. I don't know. I'll be right back. So I am still in the studio with, I call him the desert man. And green is your favorite color.
Yes.
That's because it's nature, I suppose, right? So you always wear green.
Oh, yes.
As much as possible. You went once, twice, then the third time, you even wanted to go again at 80. So what is this wonderlust? How has your family coped? I mean, you're married with all your kids, your grandfather many times over. How did they cope with all of that?
In some cases, they go into denial. Fortunately for me, I was in it before they all came into the world. I mean,
even your wife?
Even my wife, yes. Mm-hmm. So they married me, or she married me, knowing fully well that this is who, you know.
Yeah, a little crazy.
It's like, if you recall, in the book of Nelson Mandela, when Winnie Mandela went to her father to tell him that she was going to marry Nelson Mandela, and the father said to her, "You are marrying a struggle, not a human being."
So your wife married an expedition.
So they knew the kind of person, and even when they tried a few times to, not to stop me, but to talk me out of it, they found that, you know, my life was never going to be the same again, and so rather than doing that, they collaborated and became, you know, part of the whole expedition.
Before people think that's what was your way of, you practiced your profession as an engineer, you did all of those things, you know, you were with Costain for years, and all of, so you were paying the bills.
That's right, yes.
Is it a case of because you chop belly full, that's why you could think of being an explorer?
On the contrary, the exploration is something to do with your nature. And you can't believe it. My first, second, and third expedition, I had to move around a lot to find the money, to find sponsors. And yes, you know, in most cases, I went without a number of things or had to dispose something to be able to go on an expedition. So it's nothing to do with being, you know, I mean, exploration is a very wonderful innovation in anybody's life because you are doing the impossible.
And what does that do for you? I mean, are we so laid back today in society that we don't think like that? So you've lived 80 years. When you look at us today, you look at those who are younger, what are those things you wish that they had, given your own experience?
And this is why I think you just hit it there. We are laid back. We are kind of, I mean, look at the way we handle our internet. Look at the way we handle our mobile telephones. Look at the way we handle all the gadgets that we have around us. Why is it that nobody out here will ever come up with, look, let me even try to copy? Most of these things came from exploration. It's only when you try the impossible that you are subjected to some kind of difficult endurance. And in that moment of endurance, you come up with something to survive, to live.
So what has happened to us? You, for example, crossed the desert in the middle of us. The Civil War was happening,
yes,
you know.
Yes. I think the industrialized world started dumping things on us very early. And we got used to having, you know, all these things given to us that we never really bothered to. Because, look, even the cars we drive, the planes we fly, somebody sat back. Okay, let me even leave those, because that's too far. Take the boxes and the carriages we have today. Look at the rollers that are attached to them. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, boxes didn't have rollers. Do you know that?
Can spin all around.
That's right. Yeah. Do you know that today, the man that invented the roller is a multi-billionaire? Because almost every box. So why is it that we take the trouble you take, the waist problem you get, and the shoulder problem from carrying loads? Today, you can put a roller, sometimes 2 or 4, on a box, which no matter how heavy it is.
So something happened to us.
Something happened to us, yes.
But can't we change it? As you look back now, God has given you 80 years.
Yes. That's why I started the Desert Warrior Program, which was sponsored by Lagos State government, and I can come to that later. And that was meant to take scientists, environmentalists, to the deserts and subject them to endurance exercises, get them out of that thinking box, get them outside their comfort zone, let them become, you wake up in the morning, you are under a tent, you have your lectures in the middle of the desert, you are...
Let them conquer nature.
Let them conquer nature. And it is only by doing that you can begin to think of what next. What have I done to myself? You know that during my expedition, I had cause to think so many times. Why am I here?
To think, eh?
Yes, to think. Why am I here? Who got me in this kind of mess?
The first time you were alone.
Oh, yes.
The second time
alone, too.
The third time, you decided to take a group of people,
So that's, and then the fourth one was meant to be, like a bigger, which I said was being sponsored by Lagos State government until all this crisis started. So it is that we not wanting to
task our minds or go beyond our comfort zone?
Go beyond our comfort zone.
Now, tell me, I want to swing this back to, for example, the future for our country, Nigeria. In what ways do we earn the kind of leadership that we have by having a mindset like this?
Well, I wish I could take all those prospective leaders with me to the desert because they need it. To be quite honest with you, the way...
Maybe we should make it a leadership condition.
Again, it is something I touched on in my book, yes. When I talked about power, power is not just which, again, I'm happy that at 80, because if not, people would have interpreted.
They would think that maybe you want to be
but
president.
Power is not just political power. It's not just money power. Because here in our country, you will look for money to buy power, or you get power to make money. But that's not what power is. So I think I want to use that, not just this book, but my appearance, especially on a program like this, to explain to Nigerians what power, I was fascinated growing up, watching Batman, watching Spider, watching Superman. It took me a long time to find out that all those things were fantasies. But
what we call witchcraft here.
That's right. Yeah. But you see, the fact that, Superman can arrive at a scene and then save those that are being, victimized upon, or those that are being discriminated against and things like that. So it is so much to do with that power within you and how, if you get it, how do you apply it? What do you do with it? Mm-hmm. I stated in my book that I know of incidents where people have gone from power to prison and from prison to power. Again, we have it in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
So power is a very, when I went into the whole subject of power, I was so fascinated because it is a very, very intriguing
So there'll be a lot to learn from that book.
Oh, yes.